Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're coming in from. Today, we have a special witness audio that I wanted to play for you guys. This is the original police interview with Kyle Jewell, and he was one of the witnesses who did have some court testimony, and I think we all really liked him a lot. So, after his original audio of his police interview, I have included his full court testimony at the end of the video as well. Hope you guys enjoy.
My mother-in-law, my mom, my father-in-law, and then my wife's cousin, aunt, and their grandchildren, and yeah,
So, like, how many people were in your group? Sounds like a lot.
10,
Okay.
12,
How many kids?
4.
What were the ages of those kids?
My son is like 3.5. My daughter is 1.5. Oh gosh, I think the other one of them, he's 4, and maybe the other one was 6. I don't know their ages.
So they're all young, all under 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where were you? And by that, I mean, where were you within the parade route?
Yeah, so we were sitting, you have all of chocolate, and we were sitting, we talked on the phone just a little bit about this, just the direction. We were sitting, parade was going left to right. We were just sitting, there's a new apartment complex downtown, right by Olive Chocolate. We were sitting right in front of that.
Okay, so you're on the same side of the street as Olive Chocolate?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And, was it crowded? How was it? By that, I mean, like, I'm not saying, you were like this, you couldn't move, but
Yeah.
were people kind of pretty close, shoulder to shoulder, spread out? Were there rows of people, like 1, 2, 3 deep? Can you kind of describe the crowd?
Yeah, I mean, this holiday parade was much fuller, I would say, than most. Just weather was really nice. It wasn't super cold. On our side, where we were specifically sitting, I mean, it was our kids, and then there was a second row where we are. But I mean, looking around, there was rows of people.
So there were 2 rows where you were?
Yeah, like I said, the kids and like my wife were in front with a couple of the adults, and there was a handful of adults behind them as well.
And was it pretty crowded? Like, were people pretty close together? I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't like a group 6 feet, another group, or was it that way? Or was it,
No,
like,
we were
pretty
all
much...
pretty much, there was our group and there was groups all next to us, and same thing, kids were in front.
Close quarters, would you call it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so the parade is, I guess, let's say probably kind of going by normal. What was it that alerted you that something was wrong?
Yeah, so just where we were sitting, we couldn't see a vehicle coming. There was a giant white truck in front of us at that time. But right when that car passed, I mean, I saw the red SUV plow through the back of Waukesha South Band. I don't know if it was a tuba player or like a bass drum, but I saw that happen immediately. I mean, that was the alert of something just happened.
So was there no warning? I mean, did you hear it coming, or was it all of a sudden kind of there?
It was just all of a sudden there. I didn't hear a horn. I didn't hear, I mean, it was loud to begin with. The band was in front of us, so I mean, they're playing their songs. You've got just the element of just noise of being in an atmosphere like that. So it wasn't until the car actually hit someone when screaming started happening, and I saw the SUV hit them, so I was already aware of it before I think the actual screaming took place.
And you saw it physically hit a band member from South?
Yes.
Did you see what part of the car hit the band member? The front, the side? Did it sideswipe that person? Did the front of the car hit that person?
It was like the front right of the car.
And when you say front right, there's 2 ways to perceive that. So picture this in your head. Would it be, now look at where I'm sitting here, would it be front right of the car as I'm facing it from the rear, or the front? So in other words, the front driver's side or front passenger side,
Front
I guess?
passenger side.
Okay.
So I mean, like I said, it was the front of the car, the front bumper. It wasn't dead center of the car.
Okay, and that's what
more or
hit
less
the
I'm
person?
saying. Yeah.
Did you see the person go down to the ground?
I don't remember at that point what happened. I do remember the red SUV like going over things. I remember seeing the back of it as it continued to drive through Waukesha South's band, like it hit a giant speed bump, like where the back end of the car physically was off and on top of something. I don't know if it was people or if it was instruments, but I mean, it was like a giant speed bump.
Could you tell, or do you have an estimation in your mind how fast you think this car was going at the point it made impact with that band member?
It had to have been going 40 or 50 miles an hour.
Okay. You said you didn't hear a horn before this. Did you hear a horn at any point from that car?
No, I did not.
Did you ever notice anyone inside, driver or otherwise, waving their arms like to try to indicate to people to get out of the way?
No.
Did you see the driver much? Anything about the driver or anyone in the car stand out? Did you see how many were in the car? Any physical characteristics about anyone in the car stand out?
Yeah, so everyone has their own reaction to a situation like that. You can either flight or fight. I chose the route of running after the car as fast as I could.
Okay.
At one point, I felt like I was in about arm's distance or 2 arms distances from the car from where I took off. When I got a look in the car, I didn't see anyone else in the car other than the driver. But I do believe the back windows were tinted a little bit, so I couldn't fully see into the back of the SUV.
And you said you got to within about our car. What happened where you never, I guess, made it to it?
I mean, I guess one of two things. One, after the car...
I mean, like, did it accelerate? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it accelerated.
After
It hit Waukesha South Band, it slowed down a little bit there. I mean, you're going over, whether it's people or a speed bump, you're going to slow down. Okay. So I caught up to it pretty quickly, but after it got over that initial pile of bodies or instruments, it accelerated very quickly off after that. And at that point, it wasn't worth running after the vehicle anymore. I figured I probably need to go find my family.
No, I completely understand that. You know how to operate a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
You have a driver's license?
Yep.
Okay. How many years have you been driving a car?
You get your driver's license at 16?
Yeah.
9 years?
Okay. So the acceleration that you observed, picture you or anyone else when you typically stop at a red light or a stop sign. Would you call and think of how you normally see you yourself or someone else normally accelerates? Is that the way it accelerated away once it got over those bodies and instruments, or was it very rapid?
Oh, it was very rapid. Like, he continued to hit that gas pedal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like if I were at a stop sign, you kind of ease the gas and get up to a good
Correct.
speed. It was
That's what I mean.
Hit that gas pedal as hard as you can to go.
Okay. Did you notice, I know it sounds like you didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, really have eyes on the vehicle till almost the moment it was striking the band member?
Mm-hmm.
As it pulled away, and I know it accelerated rapidly, did it stay on I don't know how long you followed it.
Yeah,
did it stay on a straight
no.
line? Did it go left to right? What did you see it doing as it pulled then away, if anything?
Yeah, the path where I was standing, it looked like the car was swerving. It wasn't in a straight path, like trying to go just, directly straight where people maybe could have jumped out of the way. It was definitely swerving all over the road.
Okay. From your knowledge of driving, and I understand, you weren't driving the car, but as someone who knows how to drive, the operation of the vehicle, the actions of the vehicle, what you saw it do, did it look controlled? In other words, did it look like the movements the vehicle were making were intended by the operator, or did it appear as if the vehicle was out of the operator's control from what you could see?
It definitely looked like it was within control of the operator.
Okay. And what gives you that impression?
I think the biggest thing is if I'm driving a vehicle and maybe, I guess, just the path of which he took, or the driver took. It wasn't trying to avoid somebody and the speed at which the vehicle was traveling at. I think that was a full controlled thing, and especially now, obviously, and I don't know if it's fair to talk about, like, when we see the video previously, like, there's other videos now, and I know that's a hard thing to point to.
Yeah, and just going based on what you saw.
Yeah, from what I saw, it looked like he had full control over it. Just the swerving motions, I think that would be hard to replicate if someone didn't have control of the vehicle.
Okay. After the vehicle was gone, I'm sure there was a lot of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice, were there people down in the street and injured?
A ton, yeah. So where we were, I mean, obviously at that point, people reacted very quickly. But you could just see, if you look just down the center of the road, and the parade's going left to right, so I'm looking in the direction of it as which the parade would be going. You can just see a path of destruction of just people laying on the ground. Where I was, I can't give you a count, but I mean, a lot of people just laying on the ground. A ton of people.
Did you notice if that band member was down that you saw get hit?
Yeah, he was down. I mean, and I didn't run back to people were kind of gathering over people at that point, so I really couldn't see who it was anymore.
Okay. Were you afraid for the safety of yourself, your family, and other people during all this?
Personally, myself, I wasn't afraid. For my family, yeah.
Okay.
I don't get too afraid in situations like that.
Anything else in this moment right now, Kyle, you can think of that you think you want to tell me, you think I should know, you think we covered it all?
Yeah, I think we covered it all. I don't think the only other aspect that, in regards to the chaos, was just people yelling shots fired. That was kind of at the end of it. I mean, we didn't know what was happening. We just heard people yelling that there's shots fired, or there was an active shooter came out of some people's mouths. So that instilled quite a bit of chaos for us, and that's when people started opening doors to buildings, and we were running in there really waiting until kind of to figure out what to do.
Did you hear any shots?
From where we were, no. I didn't hear a single shot fired.
Okay. Okay. I assume is this vehicle going far faster than any of the vehicles as part of the parade ever operated that you saw?
Yes. I mean, the vehicles on the parade, I mean, very, very slow. And that's, I mean, another point to that. I guess that's a good thing to bring up. It's not like it was trying to stop the car by running into a vehicle. Like maybe something was wrong with it and he couldn't, the vehicle wasn't working correctly. There was plenty of opportunities just for where we were, where the driver could have ran into something to stop the vehicle. The driver avoided the big white vehicle, just for where the vehicle was. You had to have missed it to continue the path. So the fact that the vehicle went around that, that's just, I guess, one point to say that it wasn't avoiding vehicles.
I think that verifies your earlier statement that was controlled and not out of control.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you just summed
I
it
mean,
up right
even
there.
trees. There's plenty of trees that you could have crashed into as a driver if you were trying to not, cause damage.
Sure. Okay. All right. I think that's everything I have, unless you had a question for me.
No, I don't think so.
I got, you got my card there, Kyle. If any questions pop in your mind, just give me a call, or if there's anything you think I need to know.
Okay.
And if I don't answer, you can leave a voicemail.
Perfect.
All right?
Awesome.
All right, man. We're all set. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. You got it. Have a good holiday.
Yes, you too. I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Kyle Jewell, KYLE Jewell.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Jewell.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Jewell, on the day of November 21, 2021, did you attend the Waukesha Christmas Parade in downtown Waukesha?
Yes.
Did you come with friends and family members?
Yes, with family.
About how many people were in your group, sir?
Probably 7 or 9. I would have to count them
That's
to really
okay.
get the accurate number.
Okay. And where did you set up along the parade route to watch the festivities?
Yeah, so we were right in between those new apartments and Alo Chocolate. I don't know what road it was next to.
Okay. And so you were right on Main Street, correct?
Yeah.
And new apartments are like 4 or 5 stories high, is that right?
Yep, right
Okay.
next to Alo Chocolate.
Okay, and on the north side of the road, that would be?
Correct.
Okay. As you were sitting there, what do you recall happening, sir?
Yeah, so we were watching the parade. Had a bunch of kids in front of us, my kids, some other family members, and at one point, we had I believe it was the Remax hot air balloon truck coming to the left of us, and then we start hearing just some people yelling, "Stop that car!" And the next thing you know, from my left, going down the road, you see a red SUV just go straight through the parade. And where we were sitting at that time was the Waukesha South's band, and just drove right through Waukesha South's band and just continued going.
Did you see any people being struck by the SUV?
Yes.
Did you see any objects flying in the air?
I didn't see any objects flying in the air. I saw the red SUV going over people.
Okay, can you describe that for us, please?
Yeah, so the band had just passed us, red SUV going, again, this is just an estimate, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour, just went straight over the Waukesha South band, and it's not like it stopped. I mean, it went over. I saw the red SUV. It looked like it went in the air, like over a pretty big object, and it just was like a big old speed bump and kept going.
Okay. You saw that from your position on the side of the road?
Yes.
At some point, did you get up and leave your position?
I did. So when the red SUV had pretty much gone through the band, my reaction was to run after the car and honestly was trying to get into it to stop it. That was just my perspective on it.
Okay.
I did not get into the SUV.
Were you able to catch it?
No. It drove off at a pretty quick speed after it went through the band.
And you were running on foot?
Correct.
Okay. Prior to the SUV hitting the students in the band, did you hear the horn on the vehicle honking at all?
I did not.
As the vehicle struck students in the band, did you ever see the vehicle stop?
I did not. It would have slowed down a little bit as it hit people, but it did not slow down when it hit the band and then when it drove off.
Okay. I'd like to put up exhibit number 25, please, for the witness. Go ahead. And is there anything on your screen in front of you, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Is this 25? Okay. And you see the video that's showing on your screen in front of you, sir?
Yes.
Is this a video that you've seen before?
Yes, it is.
And do you believe this is a true and accurate representation of the events as you saw them on November 21 of 2021?
Yes.
Like to admit number 25 and permission to play it for the jury?
Anything, Mr. Brooks?
Objection is hearsay. How is everybody seeing the videos before seeing them now?
You can ask that on cross-exam, sir. But the foundation has been laid and Exhibit 25 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
All right, we're going to put it up, and then before we play anything, I'd ask if you could point out for the jury the approximate area where you and your family were stationed.
How do you want me to do that?
That's a touch screen in front of you. That's a good question. You can either circle or mark with an X, or there's a dot you can put there, whatever.
Yeah.
Just the general area where you were standing.
Somewhere over here.
Okay. And you remember seeing the parade approaching then from your left?
Yes.
I'm sorry, the band, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and play this with volume, please. Pause. Okay, we paused at the 41-second mark. When do you first recall seeing that red SUV? Was it about this point or was it back further?
Pretty much right when it rounded the Remax van.
Okay. And then do you remember seeing it come around the left side of the Remax van and then veer to the right in front of the Remax van?
Yes.
And now it's headed in the direction of where you and your family are?
Correct.
Do you remember that, sir?
Yes.
What were you thinking during this?
Really what's going on. Normally you don't see a vehicle going that quick down a parade route.
Okay. Go ahead and continue playing, please. Okay, I'm gonna we're gonna play it again a little bit slower, and I want you to point out the point where you yourself get up and run after the red SUV, okay?
Okay.
Before you have him do that, for the record, how long is this video?
Thank you, Judge. The video is exactly 1 minute in duration.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So play it at half speed, please. No sound, because with half speed, the sound is annoying.
You can pause it right there.
Okay, we're paused at the 48-second mark. You see yourself, sir?
I do.
Where are you?
You want me to circle,
Circle it. You've just run out into the middle of the street, is that right? Or towards the middle of the street?
Yes.
Where were you going?
Chasing after the car.
What were you going to do if you caught it?
Wanted to stop it.
Try and stop it.
Yep.
You described on your direct testimony the seeing the car look like it was going over speed bumps, is that right?
Yes.
Is that what's shown in this exhibit number 25?
Yes.
In fact, it was going over people, not speed bumps.
Correct. Yes.
Keep playing, I want to see where you go. And we played it to the end just for the record. You never were able to catch up,
No.
but towards the end of that video, you're off screen. We can't see you anymore.
Yes.
About how far down did you chase that SUV, sir?
It had to have been pretty far down the road. I don't have an exact that I can remember, but I ran for a pretty good amount of time. It wasn't quite to the 5 corners,
Okay.
but it was a pretty good distance.
And any point along the way, did you notice the SUV stop?
I did not know.
Did you see the driver of the SUV get out and check on any of the people that he had just run over?
No.
Did you get a good look at the driver?
I didn't get a good look at the driver, no.
Okay.
That I can remember.
Sure. After you chased the SUV but were not able to catch it, did you make your way back towards your family?
I did.
Did you encounter injured people along the way?
Yes, many of them.
And were they mostly from the school band or others?
Mainly from the South's band.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have any other questions, sir.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Do you recall being interviewed by a Detective Carpenter on November 24th of 2021?
I do remember being interviewed by a detective, yes.
Any idea why it took a few days for you to be interviewed?
Just the nature of the incident. I'm sure they had a lot to get through. So I just wanted to wait a little bit, and it wasn't something that I was going to do. Yeah.
When you say it wasn't something that you was going to do, what are you referring to?
Just seek some counsel from some mentors. After talking with them, they had advised that I should make a statement.
So it would be fair to say that you didn't intend on making a report.
That is correct.
Can you explain why?
Just didn't feel comfortable with it.
Would it be fair to say that the events that you witnessed would make anyone want to make a report? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall about what time you arrived at the parade?
I do not.
Do you recall what time you left?
I do not.
You stated earlier that you were with family, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you or any of your family members injured in the incident?
No.
I'm looking at the police report here. You did state that you didn't get a description of the driver, correct?
Yes.
Did you get a license plate number?
I did not.
Do you recall if there was any tint on the vehicle that you saw?
Not in the front, no.
What do you mean by not in the front?
I did not see any tint on the front windows or the passenger side window. From what I could remember, there was tint on the back windows.
So it would be fair to say that you couldn't see into the back of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Do you recall how many occupants were in the vehicle?
Yes.
Even though you couldn't see the entire inside of the vehicle?
Yes.
Do you recall saying in your report that, or saying in the report that was reported by Detective Carpenter, that, well, I'm going to read it what it says. He indicated that after the vehicle struck the south band, he chased it and got to within approximately an arm's reach of the vehicle. Do you recall that?
I do not.
Any reason why that would be reported?
A lot happening at that moment during that whole incident. It very well just could have been what I had thought. And it does go out of frame, so I can't exactly remember what happens once the video and myself goes out of frame.
Do you recall being at arm's length from the vehicle?
I cannot remember right now, no.
At what point did you see the vehicle slow down?
As it went over Waukesha South Band.
And what did the vehicle do after that?
It sped up.
Do you recall describing the acceleration as rapid?
Yes.
Would you say that the video that we just saw depicts a rapid acceleration?
Yes.
Do you recall stating that it seems as if the driver of the vehicle was hitting the gas as hard as he could?
Yes.
And how would you be able to tell that?
The nature of a vehicle going over people, you would think that the gas pedal would not be pushed as you're going over people. And as the car continued, the red SUV continued over, went over the Waukesha South Band and continued to accelerate, I could only imagine that the gas pedal was being pushed very hard after just going over people.
So you were making an assumption. Would that be fair to say?
I wouldn't say it was an assumption, just from driving a vehicle, knowing what happens when you go over a large object, it typically slows the car down. In order to speed it back up, the only thing that you can do is hit the gas pedal.
You can hit the gas pedal, or would you hit the gas pedal as hard as you could?
From what I remembered, it looked like the gas pedal was being hit hard. The vehicle accelerated very quickly.
Would it be fair to say that you would have to be present in the vehicle to tell if the gas pedal was pushed hard, extremely hard, as you say?
No.
Or as hard as you could?
No.
You would be able to tell that from an outside observation?
Yes.
Did you observe the route of the vehicle after, well, the video shows you kind of go off the screen, and did you observe where the vehicle went at that point?
Yes.
Did it continue straight, or Did it turn?
Continue down the parade route.
Do you recall about how far?
No.
Do you recall seeing any brake lights?
No.
Even when it briefly slowed down?
That would be correct.
So would it be fair to say that in order to slow a vehicle down, you have to brake?
Not necessarily.
And what is the necessarily?
Hitting something or going over something naturally will slow a vehicle down.
So how far would you estimate that the vehicle was traveling before it slowed down?
I can't remember that.
Can you pull up Exhibit 25 again? For the witness.
Go ahead. Do you want it to the jury or just to the witness?
To everybody.
Okay. There you go.
Is the sound up?
Do you want to play it all the way through?
Can you play it from about 30 seconds?
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Counter reads 29 seconds at this point, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Well, roughly around that area. Pause right there. From your perspective, is the sound that you just heard, could that?
Could we replay it?
Are you able to answer just based on what you heard?
No.
You did state that you didn't hear any horn, correct?
Correct.
It would be fair to say that it was pretty loud at that point in the parade, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think the noise would have impaired your hearing in any way at that point in time?
No.
So it would be fair to say that you would have been able to hear anything coming towards your area where you were sitting, or anything that was coming towards your area from the band, from the parade, rather.
I don't understand your question.
Would you have heard, if there was anything unusually loud or just loud enough, would you have heard it from where you were seated at?
I don't know how to answer that.
Is it possible that a horn could have been beat that you didn't hear?
No, horns are pretty loud. It would have been heard.
Even over all the noise of the parade and the band and the people and you would have been able to clearly hear?
Yes.
Do you recall what you saw the driver doing at the time that it passed the area that you were seated at?
Driving the car. That's the
Did
best
you
answer I
observe
can do.
any other actions by the driver?
No. Just focused on the road that was ahead of him.
And there's nothing about the description that stood out to you or caught your eye that maybe you could recall?
In regards to what?
The description of the driver.
I could tell there was one person in the car. I could see it. They're wearing some sort of hat or sweatshirt. That was about it.
And after the vehicle passed where you were seated at, and about how long did you stay at the parade after what you saw?
I wouldn't be able to remember that.
Did you attempt to help anyone injured or check for your family? Or?
At that point, when I started running back, there were a lot of bodies on the ground, and from the looks of it, there was already people helping them. So my next reaction was get back to my family.
So with all the people that appeared to be injured, you didn't stop to render any aid to any one of them?
Objection, argumentative, Your Honor.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Was there anything else about the vehicle that stuck out to you?
No.
Did you see any news reports about the incident once you got your family home?
I did not.
Did you hear about it in the days after? Did you hear about anything related to the event in the days after? Leading up to your November 24th interview with Detective Carpenter?
I'm sure I had saw general things. We really did not watch the TV too much. There was just a lot of emotional stuff that we were just working through.
So it'd be fair to say you purposely didn't watch news reports
Yes.
that were related to the incident?
We don't really watch news to begin with, but this just kind of made that a little bit more, that we didn't turn the TV on, so we did not watch much news.
So at any time, did you see any mug shot or any type of pictures related to this suspected driver?
I did not know.
At any time, do you recall hearing the name of the alleged defendant or suspect?
At some point in time, yes, I did hear the name.
Was that really quickly after the incident, or had it been some time that passed before you heard that?
There was a little bit of time that had passed before I heard it.
And you yourself didn't file a claim in this matter, did you?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds?
If you can be a little more specific, if you mean a claim related to any, related to the parade.
Did you make a claim of being an injured party, or did anybody in your family make a claim of being an injured party?
No.
You made reference to seeing the Exhibit 25 video before your testimony today, correct?
Could you say that again?
You made reference earlier that you had saw the video that was shown before you testified today, correct?
Yes.
About how many times have you saw the video before today?
Once.
So today was your second time seeing the same video.
Correct.
Is there anything that brought back or help you recall anything that you may have missed when you did your initial report? Seeing the video for a second time?
Could you ask that once more?
Seeing the video just now for the second time, did it bring back any memory that you may have not reported before, or did it bring back something that you may have missed, overlooked?
Not that I know of or remember, no.
Were you aware that you might be called to testify in this matter?
Yes.
So it'd be fair to say that you were anticipating being a witness?
No.
Whom were you contacted by about being a witness in this matter?
I wouldn't know. The Waukesha District Attorney.
Let the record reflect that the witness made a hand gesture towards the prosecution table.
Yes.
The record will so reflect.
Thank you.
So it would be fair to say that you were contacted about testifying in this matter directly from the Waukesha District Attorney's Office?
Yes.
Do you know who the plaintiff is in this matter? Your
Objection, irrelevant.
grounds?
Not relevant, sustained. Next question.
Are you aware of any injured party or plaintiff in this matter?
I am not.
You are not?
That's correct.
Have you read or seen any complaint besides your own in this matter?
You mean a statement, or you mean a criminal complaint?
A complaint, any complaint?
Object to vagueness and relevance.
Grounds?
Sustained. You can try to rephrase it if you would like. I'm sustaining it as to the form of the question, sir.
Have you seen any other statements by any parties other than yourself in relation to this incident?
No.
Are you the only person present from your family that made a statement or a report?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds? His
Overruled.
family was there.
Overruled. He may answer if anyone else in his family provided a statement.
No, I did not.
You stated earlier that it was difficult. Well, you stated that you don't really watch the news to begin with, but the incident made it more difficult to do that, correct?
A little bit, yes.
Would that be said of your family as well?
Yes.
So there was some type of impact
In regards to what?
in regards to being present at the parade.
Yes, there was a huge emotional impact on our family.
Do you know of any reason why no one besides yourself made a report?
Objection, argumentative.
Grounds?
Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds?
Next question.
So as far as you know, you've never seen or interacted with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Irrelevant.
Grounds?
Sustained. Under 90611, new topic, please. One not already covered.
Do you recall the motion of the vehicle as it passed where you were seated?
Withdraw the objection. He clarified at what location he was referring to.
Thank you.
In regards to what motion?
How the vehicle was moving, driving?
Where I was sitting, it would have been my left side, and the car was approaching from my left side, driving. I don't know north, south, east, all that stuff, but red SUV on my left, proceeded to go through on my right down Main Street.
From where you were seated, were you seated to where there were people standing in front of where you were seated?
Yes, my family.
Anybody else besides your family?
Nope, just my family.
It would be fair to say from the video that there were quite a few people standing in the general area where you were seated at. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, most of the people in front of me were kids, so they were littler than me.
Did you observe any one of those kids being struck?
No.
So it'd be fair to say that the vehicle did not strike anybody that was seated on the curb right there where you were at?
Specifically right where I was at, no.
In your opinion, after observing people struck, in your opinion, how did the vehicle miss the people that were seated directly in front of you?
Objection beyond the
Grounds.
scope of beyond scope of
Grounds.
knowledge and irrelevant.
Grounds.
Mr. Brooks, let her state her objection without interruption. The objection is sustained. Next question.
So would it be fair to say that the only people you observed being struck was the Waukesha South Band?
Yes.
Approximately how many people would you say by estimate?
Right now I can't remember. It would be a handful.
Would it be fair to say that there were hundreds, even thousands of people present for the parade?
Yes.
And you have only observed a handful of people struck?
Waukesha South's band is a pretty large band, and the red SUV went right through it. If I had to estimate 10, maybe 15, I wouldn't know the exact number that were struck by the SUV.
Would it be fair to say that that number is fairly low to all the people that was in the area at the time?
Objection argumentative, Your Honor.
Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question. Mr. Brooks, next question.
Next question or rephrase?
Well, I sustained it. You can ask your next question.
Would you identify yourself as an injured party in this matter?
Objection asked and answered.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Would you identify as the injured party in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Asked and answered. Mr. Brooks, under 90611, that was also not a question I would allow to be asked. So please move on.
No further questions.
May I redirect?
Just very briefly, I'm going to ask the clerk to please turn the monitors back on, Exhibit 25. Mr. Brooks had previously asked this to be paused. It's paused at the 37-second mark. And I
do not recognize that name, nor do I consent to being called by it.
Your objection is noted. Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
I'm going to ask Ms. Gussie to please continue playing it starting at the 37-second mark. And then I'm going to ask you to pause it.
Objection, what is the relevancy of it being played from the 37-second mark?
Your objection's noted. It's overruled. Was that with or without sound?
With sound is fine. Yes, please, sound.
Go ahead.
Pause. We're stopped at the 42-second mark. Mr. Jewell, at this point, would you say the SUV is very close to you and your family?
Yes.
At this point, did you hear the SUV honking its horn in any manner?
No.
Would you say the SUV is very close to the vehicle in the middle of the road containing the Waukesha South mascot?
Yes.
Would you also say it's very close to the two people standing in the street, one wearing a Santa hat and the other, I think, is dressed like a lion or some type of character?
Yes.
Did you hear the horn honking at this location, sir?
No.
The band is already past you to your right down the street, correct?
Yes.
Was there any music being played from the Remax vehicle that you recall?
Not that I remember, no.
Just the hot air balloon?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions, and I'm stopping it at the 42-second mark, Your Honor.
Well, there we have it. I just thought that was important. I thought he was an important witness. I think we all like the way that he reacted to Brooks on the stand. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope that you all have a blessed week. I will see you very soon. Tomorrow, the West sentencing is going to be out. If it's streamed, I'm going to be live streaming it. If it's not live streamed, I'm going to come on immediately following and talk about it and let everybody know what happened with the sentencing. Then on Thursday, big deal. We have the status hearing for Brooks's new attorney or not. We don't know what's going to happen there. So we think he's going to get a new attorney. So we'll see what happens. And if that, again, I'm going to go live. If they live stream it from court, we'll be watching it. If they don't, we're going to talk about it until we figure out what's going on. So I'm not going to make promises that I'm going to be live streaming the court, because if they don't show it, nobody's going to see it, right? Okay. You know what I mean. Anyway, you guys be good. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you very soon.